Did you know that the average person wastes nearly 4 hours a day? That's 60 days a year. Yes, you heard it right. 60 days, almost 2 whole months of the year, spent doing nothing productive. It's a startling statistic, isn't it? This wasted time isn't always apparent. It's not as if we're all sitting around doing nothing for 4 hours each day. But when you start to add up all the little moments, the picture becomes more clear. It's the 15 minutes you spend scrolling through social media when you first wake up, the half an hour you spend watching TV during lunch, the extra 5 minutes you take to decide what to wear in the morning. All these small chunks of time add up, and before you know it, you've wasted a significant part of your day. Let's take a real-life example to illustrate this point. Imagine John, a professional who spends around 2 hours a day just scrolling through social media. Sounds excessive? Well, according to a report by the Global Web Index, the average person spends about 144 minutes or 2.5 hours on social media per day. That's time John could use working on his skills, reading a book, spending with his family, or engaging in any number of productive activities. But it's not just social media. Procrastination and unproductive activities in general are huge time wasters. Waiting until the last minute to start a project, spending hours on end in unproductive meetings, or just aimlessly browsing the internet can all drain your time without you even realizing it. The bad news is, time is a finite resource. Once it's gone for good. The good news, with a little bit of discipline and the right strategies, you can reclaim a considerable amount of this wasted time. But don't worry, we've got 10 fantastic time management hacks that can help you reclaim your time and be more productive. These hacks are not just theoretical concepts from time management books, but practical, proven strategies that can make a real difference in your life. So, stay tuned as we dive into these strategies and help you master your time. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to our channel Ediverse Sarthi. Hack number 1 is the 5-minute rule. This principle is as simple as it sounds, yet incredibly effective. Imagine you have a task at hand, and it takes 5 minutes or less to complete. The rule suggests you should do it immediately instead of delaying it. Let's take an example to illustrate. Meet Sarah, a budding entrepreneur. She used to put off sending emails, considering them as time-consuming tasks. However, when she came across the 5-minute rule, she decided to give it a try. The result? Her productivity skyrocketed. By addressing these small tasks immediately, she found more time to focus on larger, more significant projects. In effect, the 5-minute rule helped her stay organized, reduce stress, and boost her overall efficiency. So, the next time you see a task that takes 5 minutes or less, just do it. It's a simple yet powerful strategy to get things done and conquer the clock. Moving on to hack number 2, eat the frog. Now this might sound a bit strange, but stick with me. The idea behind eating the frog is that you should do your most challenging task first thing in the morning. It's based on a quote by Mark Twain, who once said that if the first thing you do in the morning is eat a live frog, you can go through the rest of the day knowing the worst is behind you. Let's illustrate this with a real-life example. Meet Robert, a writer who found editing his work to be a real chore. He used to push it off until the end of the day, but often found himself too tired to do it properly. He then decided to eat the frog and started editing first thing in the morning. He found that not only was he more focused and productive, but his day was also less stressful. So remember to eat your frog first thing in the morning. Let's dive into hacks 3 to 5. First up, we have time blocking, a technique that's all about planning your day in advance by dividing it into blocks of time. Each block is dedicated to accomplishing a specific task or group of tasks. Think of your day as a blank canvas, and each block of time as a stroke of paint that fills in this canvas. By using time blocking, you can more effectively manage your day, reduce stress, and increase productivity. For example, a doctor might use time blocking to allocate specific hours for patient appointments, surgery, and paperwork. This way, they ensure they're making the most of their day and not getting overwhelmed by a myriad of tasks. Next, we have the Pomodoro technique. This hack is named after the Italian word for tomato, and here's why. Francesco Cirillo, the man behind this technique, used a tomato-shaped kitchen timer to track his work. The Pomodoro technique involves working for a set amount of time, typically 25 minutes, then taking a short break, say 5 minutes. After every fourth work session, you take a longer break, maybe 15 to 30 minutes. This technique helps maintain high levels of productivity by giving your brain regular breaks to refresh and recharge. For instance, a writer might use the Pomodoro technique to maintain focus and avoid writer's burnout while working on a novel. Our fifth hack is delegating tasks. Delegation is about recognizing that you don't have to do everything yourself. It involves assigning tasks to others based on their skills and abilities. This not only saves you time, but also allows you to focus on tasks that require your expertise. A team leader, for instance, might delegate administrative tasks to an assistant, freeing up their own time for strategic planning and decision-making. Implement these hacks and see your productivity soar. Time for the final 5 hacks. Let's dive in. Hack 6. Prioritize tasks. Imagine a jar, and you have to fill it with rocks, pebbles, sand, and water. If you start with the sand or water, you won't have room for the rocks and pebbles. This is akin to your day. The rocks are your most important tasks, the pebbles are less crucial but still necessary, and the sand and water are the least important things. Start with the rocks, and you'll find that everything else fits around them. Next up, hack 7. Avoid multitasking. As tempting as it might be to juggle multiple tasks, studies show that our brains are not designed for it. Instead, focus on one task at a time. Consider this. When you're cooking, if you try to chop onions while stirring the soup, you're likely to end up with burnt soup or cut fingers. So stick to one task at a time. Moving on to hack 8. Set achievable goals. It's like planning a road trip. You wouldn't set off without a destination in mind, would you? The same applies to your tasks. Set clear, measurable, and attainable goals. It gives you a sense of direction and helps you stay focused. Hack 9. Take regular breaks. Ever tried to run a marathon without any breaks? Exhausting, isn't it? The same goes for your brain. Regular breaks rejuvenate your mind, making you more productive. So, after every 90 minutes of work, take a short break. Stand up, stretch, or just take a few deep breaths. Finally, hack 10. Use productivity tools. There's an app for almost anything these days. From reminders to time trackers, these tools can help you organize your tasks, manage your time effectively, and boost your productivity. These hacks are not just theories, they are practical steps that you can start implementing today to see a real difference in your time management. Now that you are armed with these powerful time management hacks, it's time to put them into action. Let's not forget, the true power of knowledge lies in its application. It's one thing to understand these strategies and another to actively incorporate them into your daily routine. Think about it. How often do we find ourselves lost in the whirlwind of tasks and deadlines, only to realize that we've barely made a dent in our to-do list? It's not about the number of hours in your day, but how you use those hours that makes all the difference. So let's take this leap together. Try applying the 5-minute rule when you're faced with a daunting task. Just give it a go for 5 minutes, and before you know it, you'll be knee-deep in progress. Or tackle your biggest, most challenging task first thing in the morning. Eat that frog. It's astonishing how much lighter your day will feel once you've tackled that big toad. I encourage you to implement these hacks one day at a time. Start with one strategy, see how it works for you, and then slowly incorporate others. The beauty of these hacks is that they're adaptable. They can be tailored to suit your unique lifestyle and needs. Remember, the goal is not to become a slave to time, but to master it, to bend it to your will. When you manage your time effectively, you gain control over your life. You're able to accomplish more, reduce stress, and ultimately live a more fulfilling life. So, what are you waiting for? Start today. Embrace these strategies, make them your own, and watch as they transform your relationship with time. And don't forget, we're eager to hear about your journey. Share your experiences, your victories, and even your challenges. We're all in this together. Remember, time is the most valuable resource you have. Make the most of it. Start today and let us know how these hacks are working for you.